Welcome back for another installment of Law of Cosines. We're going to do this next example, example 6. In this case, I'm given triangle LMN, and I'm given three sides of the triangle, and I'm asked to find the measure of angle L. Well, a couple things that are really important. You could draw out the triangle, or you need to recognize that the side that does not include angle L is the side opposite angle L. So in other words, side MN is opposite angle L. That's important in using the law of cosines. The other thing that's important is this. When we're given the law of cosines, we're assuming triangle ABC. In this case, we're given triangle LMN. So what does that really mean? Well, it means that the side opposite angle L squared is equal to the side opposite angle M squared plus the side opposite angle N squared minus 2 times M times N. Oops, one should be an M and one should be an N times the cosine of angle L. So sometimes it helps to rewrite the formula in terms of the letters that you were given for the triangle. Okay, so also you'll remember if you watched my last video or the video before that, when we have a side situation and we're finding an angle measure, there is a shortcut that you can take. So in this case, the shortcut would look like this. It would look like that little L squared minus M squared minus N squared divided by negative 2 times M times N, and this is going to be equal to the cosine of angle L. And then remember, to find an angle, you use an inverse cosine. So in other words, this becomes the inverse cosine of side L squared minus side M squared minus side N squared divided by negative 2 times side M times side N. This is equal to the measure of angle L. Okay, so that's the formula I'm going to use. I'm going to plug in the numbers and we're going to look at how do I use the calculator most efficiently to answer this question. So again, where's my side L? That's the one that's opposite angle L. So that's my MN. So I have the inverse cosine of, in my numerator, 20 squared. That's the only side that really matters as far as the rest of my, it doesn't matter which one's M and which one's N, right? That 20 squared, that's the most important thing. So it's 20 squared minus my other two sides, 25 squared, and then minus the 24 squared. In the denominator of my fraction, I have negative 2 times, then I've got the 25 and the 24. So negative 2 times 25 times 24. This is what equals the measure of angle L. And I'm sorry, my angles and my L's look a lot alike. All right, so how do I simplify this? I've gotten my equation this far. What do I do from here? You have several options. You can type the whole thing in your calculator at once. If you do that, you need to remember to group that numerator together and to group that denominator together. So here's what that would look like in your calculator. So your inverse cosine, put in another set of parentheses to group your 20 squared minus 25 squared minus 24 squared. Close that, that's my numerator. Divide. Now I'm going to group that denominator together. So I have another grouping symbol, another parentheses. Negative 2 times 25 times 24. I'm going to close that grouping center. That's my denominator. Then I'm closing the whole thing. That's my inverse cosine. Click enter. We're rounding to the nearest tenth. So the 2 in the hundredths place does nothing to the 1 in the tenths place. So what I'm learning here is that the measure, and let me go ahead and do this in pink, right? The measure of angle L equals, or approximately equals, 48.1 degrees, because I am in degree mode. So that's one way to do it. If that hurts your sensibilities, and it does for a lot of students, the next thing to do is this. Go ahead and simplify your numerator. So we know the measure of angle L is equal to the inverse cosine of, okay, so I'm going to simplify the numerator, 20 squared minus 25 squared minus 24 squared. So I'm going to simplify my numerator, negative 801. And then simplify that denominator, negative 2 times 25 times 24. Oops, don't need a parenthesis there. Negative 1200. Sometimes my pen sticks. Okay, negative 1200. And now I can type this into my calculator, right? So now I have my inverse cosine, negative 801 divided by negative 1200. You could have dropped both the negatives, right? Because the negative divided by a negative is a positive. You can't just drop one of them though, remember that, and enter. And now you can see my 48.1 is the same as that 48.1 above. Okay, there are other ways that you can do this. You can use the stow button in your calculator, which will allow you to stow some of your answers into little cells and then pull those back up. That's another way that you could do that. That would be a whole new video. So I think we're going to stop here. Don't forget to come back. We're going to do some word problems. Those always are a treat, right? So I hope you come back and watch those.